The name rings out again, a familiar echo in the halls of power, a ghost of administrations past reaching from the shadows to grasp the future. While you worry about the price of bread and the darkness of load shedding, the political royalty is consolidating its dynasty. Thuthukile Zuma, daughter of former President Jacob Zuma, is not just entering politics, she is being anointed, handed a deputy chair position in Johannesburg's ANC on a platter of pre-arranged slates and backroom deals. This isn't democracy, it's a succession plan, and it's happening right under our noses as the city crumbles. Let's be brutally clear. This has nothing to do with talent, with service, with a proven track record of uplifting the communities of Johannesburg. This is about lineage. This is about a last name that carries the weight of immense controversy, of state capture allegations, of a presidency that left the country battered. And now, that name is being carefully positioned for a comeback, starting with the strategic heart of the country's economic capital. They think we won't notice. They think we'll just accept it. The stage is Cedar Woods Hotel. Over 300 delegates, a microcosm of a fractured party, gather not to debate policy or to find solutions for a bankrupt city, but to play musical chairs with titles. And in this game, the music has already been composed, the dancers already choreographed. Matshidiso Mfikoe, an ANC MPL, lays it out with shocking candor. We agreed as a team that we would rally around one person, and that is Thuthukile Zuma. No competition, no robust contest of ideas. A rally, a coronation. Listen to the language. It's a handover. Mfikoe says, this is time to hand over to the young ones. But is it a handover, or a hand-me-down? Is this about youth empowerment, or is it about ensuring that a certain political family retains its influence, its access, its grip on the levers of power and patronage? When has the ANC ever simply handed over power to an untested youth without a fierce internal battle? The exception being made here is deafening. They call her astute, talented. But on what basis? What community organizing has she led? What council committee has she chaired? What tangible, documented success can she point to in public service? Her primary qualification, the one that dare not speak its name too loudly, is her DNA. This is the politics of royalty, repackaged for a democratic era, and it is an insult to every hard-working, unknown branch member who has poured years into the ground without a famous surname. And while this political theater unfolds in a North Johannesburg hotel, what of the city itself? Johannesburg is drowning. Its infrastructure is failing, its finances are a mess, its residents are furious. And the response from the ruling party's regional faction? To meticulously engineer the ascent of a political heir. It tells you everything about where their priorities lie. It's not with fixing potholes, it's with fixing the leadership slate. Then there's the stench of money. Mfikoe herself admits it, lamenting a culture that is anti-ANC where money and resources influence conferences. She says it's foreign to her, but it is the very ecosystem that her chosen candidate's father was accused of cultivating. The irony is so thick you could choke on it. A commission will discuss it, she says. A discussion, not an arrest, not a disqualification. A gentle discussion about the buying and selling of votes, while the deals proceed unabated. This is the real state of the ANC, not a liberation movement in transition, but a marketplace. Delegates become commodities, votes become transactions, leadership positions become investments. And into this marketplace steps a candidate whose brand value is her lineage. It's a perfect marriage of name recognition and commercialized politics. Tell me in the comments, what price do you think a vote for regional deputy chair is going for at Cedar Woods tonight? The outgoing secretary, Sasabono Mangani, offers hollow platitudes. It must never be about us as individuals, it must be about the ANC. But it is all about individuals. It is about which faction, linked to which higher-up, gets to control Johannesburg. The faction backing Thuthukile is aligned with outgoing chair Dada Moro. The opposing faction is with Loizu Masuku, the MMC of finance. This isn't ideology, it's turf war. Johannesburg is the turf. And what does Jacob Zuma himself think, watching from Candor or elsewhere? His daughter, elevated the Zuma name back in a key position just as his own new party, the MK Party, seeks to dismantle the ANC from the outside. Is this a coincidence, or is it a strategic pincer movement? A name inside, a name outside. keeping the dynasty relevant no matter which political vehicle survives. The calculation is cold, and it is brilliant, and it has absolutely nothing to do with your life. They speak of institutional knowledge being passed on. What institutional knowledge does the Zuma family possess? The knowledge of surviving scandal? The knowledge of navigating courts? The knowledge of mobilizing populist sentiment? Is that the knowledge Johannesburg needs right now, or does it need knowledge of urban planning, of fiscal responsibility, of non-political service delivery? This moment is a microcosm of a national disease. It is the belief that political power is an inheritance, a family business. It corrodes meritocracy. It tells every young South African without connections that the top is reserved for those with the right last name. It kills ambition and replaces it with cynicism. How many talented young leaders in the ANC branches of Johannesburg tonight are seeing their hopes extinguished by this preordained outcome? The conference is a bubble, a world away from the reality of Diepsloot, of Alexandra, of Yeovil. In those places, people are not debating slates. They are fighting for survival. They would laugh with bitter recognition at the term vote buying because they live in a world where every basic service sometimes feels like it needs to be bought. The disconnect is not just a gap, it's a chasm. And what of Thuthukile Zuma herself? Does she have her own vision, her own manifesto, her own breaking point with the past? Or is she a vessel, a placeholder, a piece on the chessboard moved by older, more seasoned players? Her silence on the allegations swirling around the conference is telling. Her acceptance of this anointed role speaks volumes. Does she truly believe she earned this, or does she simply accept it as her birthright? This is how decay sets in, not with a bang, but with a quiet, consensus-driven handover in a hotel conference room. It's the normalization of dynasty. It's the acceptance that certain families are destined to lead, regardless of the wreckage left in the wake of their previous tenures. It is a betrayal of every principle the ANC once claimed to hold. Think back 5 years, 10 years. Would this have been so easily accepted? The brazenness is new. The lack of even pretending this is a contest is new. It shows a level of confidence, of arrogance, that believes the public is too tired, too distracted, or too powerless to object. They are betting on our apathy. Are we going to prove them right? In the comments, I want you to tell me the name of one local councillor or community activist in your area who actually fixes problems but will never get this kind of anointed, backed, funded rise to power. Let's name the real talent that gets overlooked. The media will report this as a simple political story. Zuma's daughter contests position. But we must read between the lines. The phrase rally around is a political euphemism for we have shut down democracy. The phrase handing over is a euphemism for installing. This is not news, it's a decoding exercise for a silent coup of entitlement. The repercussions will ripple far beyond Johannesburg. If this succeeds, it becomes a blueprint. Other regions, other provinces, will see that with enough factional backing and a famous name, you can bypass the grind of political work. The incentive structure of the entire party shifts further away from service and towards lineage and connection. Where does it end? Do we await the rise of the next generation, the grandchildren, prepped for leadership from birth? Is this the South African political future we are sleepwalking towards? A series of competing family franchises, while the state itself becomes a prize to be looted between them? The vote will happen tonight. The results are likely already known to the key players. The speeches will be made, the hands will be raised, the photographs will be taken. Thuthukile Zuma will smile, flanked by her supporters. It will look like a victory, but it is a profound loss. A loss for internal party democracy, a loss for merit, and a loss for the people of Johannesburg who are once again an afterthought in a Game of Thrones. This script is not just about one person or one position. It is about the soul of a country's politics. Are we a modern democracy, or are we reverting to ancient, tribal patterns of hereditary rule? The answer is being written in a hotel in Sandton tonight, and we are all supposed to just watch. So, we must not just watch. We must question, relentlessly. We must demand to know her plans, her policies, her repudiation of the rotten systems of the past. We must not allow the narrative to be youthful rise, but must frame it as dynastic ascent. The words matter. The frame matters. Share this video. Share it because if you live in Johannesburg, Your future leadership is being decided by a few hundred people in a room, and you deserve to know how. Share it because this story is a warning flare for the entire nation. This is how it starts. This is how democracy slowly bleeds out, not in a riot, but in a quiet, consensus-backed hotel meeting. They are banking on us being too tired to care. They are banking on us seeing the name Zuma and just shrugging, overwhelmed by the sheer fatigue of it all. But we cannot afford that fatigue. Every time we accept this, we lower the bar. We make the next descent easier. What is the alternative? The alternative is to demand more. To demand that every candidate, regardless of name, publishes a clear, costed plan for Johannesburg. To demand that conferences are publicly funded and audited to end vote buying. To demand that leadership is earned through visible, community-based work, not through backroom slate negotiations. This is a test for the ANC delegates in that room, too. Do they have the courage to break from the slate, to nominate from the floor, to actually think for themselves about what the city needs? Or are they just cogs in a machine, following orders, collecting their stipends, and ensuring the dynasty advances one more square on the board? To the older generation, Mfikoe speaks of, if you truly want to hand over to the best, not to the most connected. Hand over to a generation you have rigorously mentored, not anointed. Your legacy should be strong institutions, not strong families. As the night drags on at Cedar Woods, the real Johannesburg sleeps, unaware of the deal being struck on its behalf. Tomorrow, the headlines will come, the analysis will roll, but the anger, the profound sense of a system rigged for the elite, will simmer in the hearts of millions. That anger is a political force. They would be wise not to ignore it. This is not the end. It is merely the latest chapter in a long story, but we are the authors of the public reaction. We get to decide the tone, the scrutiny, the level of accountability that follows. Let's make it a story of relentless scrutiny, not of passive acceptance. So I ask you one final, simple question. When you hear the name Thuthukile Zuma, ANC Deputy Chair of Johannesburg, what is the very first word that comes to your mind? Write it in the comments. Let's see the raw, unfiltered reaction. Let's tell the truth that the delegates in that hotel room are ignoring. The game is on, and we are not just the audience. We are the judges.